Hello students, today we'll be doing poem Childhood by Markus Natten from Hornbill, which is the main reader book in +1 English core. In this poem, the poet ponders over the question when and where he lost his childhood. Childhood is the golden period in each man or woman's life. So when one loses it, one realizes that how happy one was when he or she was child. After the loss of his childhood, the poet wanted to know when actually he lost his childhood, and he tried to make a few guesses, and then finally he concluded that he lost his childhood long ago, and he was not exactly sure when exactly he had lost it. So let's read the poem line wise and understand it. So here are the first two lines of the poem. In each frame, you will have three sections. On the top, there will be lines from the poem. Then there will be some pictures conveying the idea hidden in the lines, and at the bottom you may read the explanation in very easy words. So let's start the poem. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? So the poet starts the poem by asking himself this question: when did my childhood go? So the poet wanted to know exactly at what time he lost his childhood. So he made the first guess. Was it the day when he celebrated his 12th birthday? That is the time when he stopped being 11. Ceased here means stopped. So the poet here in these two lines wanted to know when he lost his childhood. So he made a first guess, and the guess was he thought maybe he lost his childhood when he celebrated his 12th birthday. Here are the next four lines. Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? So here the poet is making a second guess. So he thought maybe he lost his childhood when he could not find hell and heaven, right? So he might have tried to find heaven and hell in his geography book, because geography book has all the maps. So and all the maps give us location of each and every place. So maybe he tried to find hell and heaven in his geography book, but he couldn't find, and maybe his parents could not answer his spiritual questions regarding hell and heaven. So when he could not find hell and heaven, when he could not find answers to his spiritual questions, maybe he started, feeling that he had lost his childhood. So here the poet is making another guess that maybe he lost his childhood when he could not find the answers to his questions related to hell and heaven, and when he could not find heaven and hell in geography book, maybe that was the day when he stopped being child, because being a child he believed in hell and heaven, but when he might have felt the need of seeing heaven and hell, and when he must have tried to find their exact location in various places including his geography book, and when he failed to find hell and heaven, maybe that day he stopped being a child. Here are the next three lines, and in these lines he asks the same questions, rather, he asks himself the same question: when did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seem to be? So here the poet is making another guess regarding the exact time of loss of his childhood. So the poet here is making another guess. So regarding when did he lost his childhood. So he thought maybe he lost his childhood when he realized that adults were hypocrites. They pretended to be something else, but in reality, they were totally opposite of what they pretended to be. So he asked himself, was it the day when he realized that adults were not what they seemed to be? Was it the day when he lost his childhood? So this is another guess he makes. This is what he, you see, felt about the adults. They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. So this was what the poet noticed, that the adults around him, they often talked of love and advised others to act lovingly, but when it came to real action and practice, he found that the adults did not act so lovingly. These three lines are actually related to the previous three lines. So here he is explaining the same idea. Actually, he found the adults to be hypocrites. That is, there was a huge difference between their actions and words. So here the poet is again expressing his guess that maybe when he realized that there was a huge difference between what the adults said and what they did, so maybe on that day he stopped being a child. So here are the next three lines. When did my childhood go? So here the poet is asking himself the same question, and he wants to figure out what yeah, you see what caused the loss of his childhood. And he had many occasions to remember when he you see realized, or when he felt or disillusioned, and maybe that disillusionment led to his loss of childhood. So here he is asking you see the same question, and he is making another guess. Maybe on that occasion he might have lost his childhood. Was it when I found my mind was really mine? So here the you see poet is making another guess. Maybe he lost his childhood when he realized that he had a unique mind with which he could think his own peculiar you see individual thoughts which didn't match with anyone. So was it the day when he realized that his mind could think his unique thoughts? So was it the day when he lost his childhood? So these three lines are related to the previous three lines. Producing thoughts that were not those of other people. You see, he realized that his mind could think thoughts which were totally different from other people, including his parents, and those thoughts were purely his own and nobody else's thoughts. So was that the day when he realized this truth, this fact, that he could think his own personal, unique, you see, thoughts which didn't match with anyone's thoughts? So was it the day when he lost his childhood? So here are the last four lines of the poem. Here you see poet is asking a different question. He didn't ask when did I lose my childhood or when did my childhood go. Here he asked where did my childhood go. So in these lines the poet wants to know which was the place where he lost his childhood. So here he makes another final guess. It went to some forgotten place. So even the poet is not sure where his childhood had gone. So that is hidden in an infant's face. That is all I know. So the poet has just one idea, that he lost his childhood long, long ago, and his childhood was associated when he was just an infant. So his childhood was associated with his infancy. Here you can see the infant's face. So the poet concludes he doesn't know when and where exactly he lost his childhood, but he can definitely figure it out that he lost his childhood when he stopped being an infant. So he doesn't know exactly when that happened. So one thing is sure, he had lost his childhood and he had lost it long, long ago. So this was the poem, and that's it. Thank you very much.